What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Y'all know what it is. Y'all know who it is. It's your boy Trey. This is First Formation Morning Sport Talk, brought to you, presented by E2G Sports Network. Y'all know how it is, how we get down. Of course, your favorite vets on this net, bringing you the latest in the sports industry. Some of those topics, some of these key topics, giving our perspective on different things. So y'all, if y'all been here before, y'all been in this formation before, y'all know what it is to come on, catch a vibe, fall in. So of course, there's plenty to talk about this morning as the NFL just concluded its fourth week. Of course, the culmination is tonight. The San Francisco 49ers face off against the Los Angeles Rams for the controlling stake in the NFC West. So you know I'm all for it. You know who I represent. Of course, some NBA action took place. NCAA football. You know, we stood on our desk talking about football is here. It has been here. Plenty to talk about that. So we should get our cohort Bishop should join us, or maybe he won't. I foresee he will, just because the Eagles lost. Now, when we talk about the stuff that went on Saturday, as what's good, Anthony, as they already covered in the comments about the Boomer Sooners, in which Bishop already speaks about. Hey, it gotta happen to somebody at some points, but we'll talk about that a little bit in the show. Uh, so yeah, pretty much a lot going on over the course of the weekend. Them 3 days in which I guess you 2.5 days in which we last left you all high speed. So let's get to speaking. Let's get to talking. Um, First and foremost, what there goes one of my brothers. What's good, Professor Pick'em Ron G in the building. My Michigan one, so of course he was gonna be here. His the 49ers played the Rams, so he had no reason to run from that NFL action. Um, I know Bishop is kind of, what I'm saying, Bishop has a little pass, I guess you could say. He's getting ready as him and his family are in transition from one place to another. So that could be a little bit of it. We'll know. I don't know, Ron. Would you say if Oklahoma won, a couple with the Philly won, that he'll be here front and center?
He's probably feeling that Oklahoma loss. That was bad. That was
Yeah.
bad.
But of course, in true fashion, we're gonna get to it at some point. Of course, we're not gonna let So if it was USC, it'll be a problem. If it was Michigan, it'll be a whole problem. It was Oklahoma 2, not 1, but 2 weeks in a row. But like I said, we'll get to that shortly. Of course, we want to talk about for a second MLB. I know I got military on my mind because over the weekend the National Military Basketball tournament dropped what they perceive as their preseason rankings. I don't have to pull that up. There was a lot of heat, a lot of fire coming from that ranking. A lot of people didn't agree. Of course, I'll get to that. We'll talk about that as well. But the other M, not the military one, but the military, Major League Baseball. As we know, that Hunt for October, for October is on and popping. If y'all don't know, Hunt for October is basically the beginning of the Major League Baseball season's beginning of the playoffs, in which only a certain amount, 6 teams from each division, each conference can get in. Major League, American League, National League. Currently, the American League is solidified. They're good. They got 6 participants. It's just a matter of the end of the season to figure out where those participants is lined up outside of the Houston Astros. On the other side of the spectrum, the National League has teams that are still battling it out, as the Philadelphia Phillies. Them Phillies are still trying to make it happen as they're battling in the locked in against the Milwaukee Brewers, looking for that last wild card spot in the National League. Of course, with only 3 games remaining, although I think Milwaukee has a slight edge over the Phillies, but it might come down to the last bit. Ron, are you when it comes to baseball, if Phillies is Phillies is representing, or do you go another route?
Traditionally,
Okay.
um, St. Louis Cardinal. Shout out Albert
Okay.
Pujols,
Albert
Mister
Pujols,
700.
702, Ron, and I was just about to get to that next. Albert Pujols, as he
I ain't
bared
even
down on
know
the
he was
700.
anymore.
Yes, after he bear down on that 700 record, he got that and has been like, I'll raise you two, as he currently knocked number 702
Jeez.
yesterday, as he continues on that track, getting over 700 home runs over his career, as it will
Right.
come. Actually, it won't come to an end. His regular season career comes to an end. He played yesterday in front of his home crowd, giving them a little something to remember with that
Right.
702nd home run, but he still has 3 games in their last series. I didn't get a chance to catch who it was against, as well as they secured a spot in the playoffs. So we will see more Albert Pujols at
Woo!
least for another couple of games. Uh,
And
but on the other side of the spectrum, good morning, sis. What's going on, Kaneet? What's going on, sis? Good morning. Glad to have you information with us this morning. So, additionally, of course, unfortunately, we bared down. We watched Judge in his as he continued towards his mark. I could guess you say the mark of 72. I get, of course, 73 is not going to be in his grasp unless he can hit 13 home runs over the course of the next 3 games. Additionally, he hasn't even since he hit the 61st home run. He's looking for number 62. Ron, do you think we see another couple of home runs from Aaron Judge before the season ends?
woo, I think baseball hating on him. They ain't gonna throw him no home run hits. He's done.
He's done. That's it. It's like that's where you come to the end of the line, brother.
They're
Time to
trying
get
to
off.
make sure he don't get his triple crown. They're trying to make sure he don't get no more home runs, but he already did it. So
Yeah.
it's
Hey,
and
he already
now
got
it's
something.
just
He's like
hating.
he's in the
Y'all
record
just
books. He's immortalized.
yeah, y'all just making him more iconic. Y'all taking him to Barry Bonds levels now. When we hopefully they
Not
don't
pitching
get to the
to
playoffs and walking him with bases loaded.
him. so
That's gonna say a lot.
So as I said, of course, we was going. I was trying to sit up and maybe stall a little bit. I could have went a different route, but saying I want to make this pigskin sandwich. Uh, First and foremost, we start off like this. After 7 seasons, right? After 7 seasons, Wisconsin has fired their head coach Paul Crisp after a 2-3 start. Of course, on his over the course of those 7 seasons, Paul Crisp has became was 67-26, which isn't shabby for the most part. Um, the first 4 seasons in which he was the head coach of the Wisconsin Badgers, first 4 out of 5, he basically compiled 10 or more wins a season, as well as a Cotton Bowl and an Orange Bowl win, with 3 Big 10 West Division titles in total. Right, he basically struggled to 20. He struggled in 2020, and then after that 2020 struggle, he basically went 9-4 last year after a 4-3 start. Of course, he's owed about $16 million, but Wisconsin's AD discussed and said that his buyout is going to be considerably less than that 16 million, due to the fact that he wasn't fired without cause, in which they plan to bring forth the cause and later to basically activate that. The activate that buyout. Of course, currently the defensive coordinator Michael Leonard will be the interim coach for the Wisconsin Badgers. Wisconsin has a bevy of treasures and players in their um in their arsenal. I don't see how they end up 2-3. Ron, it's unfortunate. I know you could care less because it's like now they're out the way. That just makes it uh your institution getting closer to leaving it to where it's just you and Michigan. I mean, you and Ohio State, huh?
That's usually who how it comes down, and we end up getting our arse beat. So, our past two games been scaring me. Tua
Mm-hmm.
in Maryland was fun to watch. That was a fun game to see our defense get tested, but I didn't expect Iowa to throw the blows that they did with us on Saturday. So,
Uh huh. So of course, in other, of course, more is just like it when it comes in threes, Ron. It comes in threes. Of course, uh, across the other rest of the NCAA, the winless Colorado Buffaloes, Pac-12 bottom dweller, basically has just fired their head coach in Carl Dorrell, as well as the defensive coordinator Chris Wilson. Bro, you know what, Rod? You laugh. I was like, "Yo, what did I do? Like, what did I do? Like, what am I going? Why am I leaving as well? I just followed his lead." But in any case, like I said, they followed Carl Durrell, the head coach, and the defensive coordinator Chris Wilson after a 5-0 start for this 2022 season. Last season, the Colorado Buffaloes went 4-8. The only winning season they had in the 3 seasons in which head coach Carl Durrell was there was the COVID-19 season in which they went 3-1. Basically, over the course of the last 3 seasons, he finished 8-15 in those 3 seasons. What's good, Eric? What's good? What's good, Willie? We gonna get to it, man. I figured that you would probably pull up them
Oh my
Cowboys, man. Them
gosh.
Cowboys, bruh. What's good? So I hope you still stay in formation, Willie, so we can we can sit up and have that conversation shortly. Of course, like I
Mr.
said,
Willie, you really want us to talk about Cooper Rush versus Carson Wentz? Trey, we got so much better stuff to do, sports
something.
wise. Lord.
Oh, of course, like I said, Durrell he is going to get paid 8.7 million in the buyout. I don't know is that compensation, you know, is how that makes it pay. But offensive coordinator Mike Sanford will take over as the interim, as well as defensive lines coach Gerald Chapman will take over as the defensive coordinator for the most part in Colorado. It's a hard life out there when you look at it, man, for these coaches, especially when you in divisions that Power Five. And which is interesting, Ron, is as of last week, the Power Five new coaches, 14 new head coaches in the Power Five conferences in NCAA football, and all of them had a winning record for the most part, or even or winning record. So evidently, there were some good hires. Well, they was until Brent Venable lost the last 2 games. So uh, you have that, of course. But let's get into this top 25. And, you know, I'm glad, in a sense, to some degree. Some keynotes, of course, the top 25 as we know it. A total of I think 7 teams have entered into the fray. When you look at it, you got look, Rob. I don't know, Rob. I mean, I don't know, Eric. I'm very sure he'll pop on at some point. He probably listening in the background waiting to we get into the NFL. Um, but or maybe not, you know. But of course, you like I said, there's about 7 teams that basically entered into the top 25. You have a new TCU that came in at 17. At UCLA makes his appearance for the first time at number 18. Syracuse at number 22 improves to 5-5. I mean 5-0. Mississippi State at number 23. Cincinnati reappears for the first time. They fell out. Now they're back. LSU makes their first appearance. Of course, before we get to the top 25 in overall, a couple of people fell out, which is interesting. Baylor, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas A&M, and Pittsburgh lead the top 25, as well as Florida State and Minnesota. Currently, you sit at 17 from the packs from the SEC. 5 teams from the Pac-12. As we started out with two, at one point we only had one. Now we sit with 5. The ACC with 4, the Big 12 with 4, the Big 10 with 3, American with 1, as well as the Independent sitting with 1. Of course, this upcoming week there's going to be a couple, maybe 3. I think about 3 games in which there's going to be a ranked team against a ranked team. That'd be number 25 and number 8. Number 25 LSU would take face off against number 8 ranked Tennessee. Number 17 TCU faces off against number 17 Kansas, and of course, lastly,
Woo.
number 11 ranked. Yeah, that's going to be a nice one. The Utah Utes take on the number 18 ranked UCLA Bruins. For the complete top 25, we have the LSU Tigers, uh, the Bayou Bengals, number 25. Cincinnati brings up, as we stated before, number 24. Mississippi State at 23. At 22, you have Syracuse Orange Men. Of course, at number 21, Washington State. The state of Washington, the UW, them Huskies. At number 20, Kansas State. Number 19, Kansas. Number 18, UCLA. At 17, we had TCU. At 16, BYU. At number 15, Wake Forest is the representative. Number 14, North Carolina State. At number 13, Kentucky. The Blue Buds, the basketball still around. At number 12, Oregon. Let's go Pac-12. Number 11, Utah. Bringing in the top 10, Penn State. Ron, you might have a problem there. At number 9, Ole Miss. Number 8, Tennessee, still sitting around where I don't see Applewhite yet. I'm very sure he's going to be in the comments at some point. Um, at number 7, Oklahoma team, although they the Oklahoma Sooners, Oklahoma State Cowboys come in at number 7. At number 6, them on to victory, the USC Trojans. Number 5, Clemson. Although Clemson was on the ropes, Michigan at number 4, Ohio State at number 3, at number 2, Georgia. Although they are 3 points ahead in the top 10 in the at first place votes, they are 1 point behind in the overall votes, in which gives Alabama the edge at the number 1 team in the nation currently. Uh, I don't argue with the number 1 and number 2 switch round. I would even give Ohio State a possibility possibly to move up, because Georgia was on the ropes. It was a wrap. It was Mizzou had their number, but couldn't hold fast. Ron, how you feeling about the top 25 this morning?
I feel like you're disrespecting Georgia.
Ooh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's a respect and decency thing. You know, they've
Mm-hmm.
been I'm pretty sure their first 3 games they beat their teams by all 50. In the last 2, they did not cover. Um,
Mm-mm.
of course against Mizzou, but I think it's like kind of like what you were saying. It's the middle of the pack thing. Like you're getting to kind of them tough matchups. Although we didn't expect Mizzou to put up this fight,
No, no, in no way.
I still feel like Georgia's just our undisputed champion. I mean, they are, and they had a rough game. Does not mean that Alabama should flip them, because Alabama had plenty of rough games as well.
You
We
know
can
what?
talk
That is a
about
good point. That is a good point.
and every single one of our teams in the top 4. I love that too. Has had tough games. Ohio State, Michigan included. So uh,
What
what?
I think what we're starting to see, Ron, without a doubt, even in NFL, of course, we're going to get into it a little. NFL is what we thought is not what's happening here. Like, and it's like like they say, the definition of insanity is continue to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. Seemingly, we could continue to believe that Georgia, Alabama, maybe even Ohio is going to continue to skate through and become unscathed. And we're going to see what we have seen over the course of the last couple of years. And what's being shown to us is that these teams, no matter who it is they're playing, are coming to play. And if you sit up and allow them to creep up on you or play you like their Power Five or their top tier Power Five teams, then you're going to sit up and
Right.
you're going to get punched in the mouth.
And I think these first 4 weeks was kind of a lot of layers of the onion getting peeled back for a lot of teams, and
Mm-hmm.
it kind of caught us all by surprise. And I feel like we should take note because it's going to continue. Because I feel like this is the first real season, like no issues, no pandemics,
Correct.
no COVID teams getting sat out, losing half the teams and whatnot. Everybody's hungry, everybody's wanted, everybody's happy to be back. Um, which is why we keep catching so many upsets.
Yes,
Oklahoma.
seven. Whew, Oklahoma. After all, you know what? I feel Bishop's pain. Maybe I wouldn't show up either if I was Bishop. I would. Maybe I
You should.
wouldn't.
I'm happy he didn't, because when he show up, you got to have back to back ready for about Drake. Oh, trigger trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers. You
You know
told
what
them
I'm saying?
this was gonna happen.
It's a humbling experience. I told them they was not built for
So
that.
when y'all
Now
get to
I
this
have
middle pack of games,
I said, I told them it was a bill for it. I told them they was a bill for it. But I mean, it could be worse. It could be worse. Not saying. I mean, they was formidable at the beginning.
yeah, I was
Now
starting
you
to
look at
believe in them. I'm happy you
yeah,
realized the fluff.
yeah. Uh, it's
Like Michigan had some fluff games. Y'all had some fluff games too. We always like we could this could be our week.
yes, yes. It's
Thankfully, our squad showed they actually are about this life, and despite
yes.
the bumps and bruises, we finish out our games.
Yeah, yes, that's of course because because after of course it'd be so unfortunate. See, you be in a good position because your game be out the way. You already have the results of your game, and you can sit back and be cool. Me, on the other half, I have to sit up and try to keep quiet my comments because after Ohio after Oklahoma got throttled. I was like, yo, and I was like, okay, but I was like, wait, it's like clap, but I was like, wait, oh no, I gotta hold that for a second. And then I look up and USC at in the second half or at the top of the second quarter was in a dogfight. I'm like, they struggling against Arizona State. I was like, come on, man. I was like, I can't sit up and be a witness to this because and then I look up and when I wake up the next morning, because I dozed off, I woke up the next morning and saw that we had won 42-27 or something like that. I was like, okay, I'm good with that. I can rock with that. So but I had to sit up and keep my, saying, hold up for a second because we had that late game in which we could have been potentially the latest upset, in which we wasn't, and we continue on. But I do foresee like the Pac, like I said, 5 of the top 25 is the Pac is in the Pac-12. That just means we're at the top, yes, but UCLA is on our heels. We still got to play UCLA. We still got to play Notre Dame, although they're not in the top 25 currently. So there's games out there. I think we have. I think do we play Utah this year? No, we don't. We don't play Utah this year. So or in Oregon. So we might have UCLA is a rivalry. So we got to look at that. So it ain't no telling what the outcome is going to be. So none of us are safe. Y'all still got Penn State and Ohio State potentially. Michigan State. Okay, maybe I'm
You
reaching with Michigan
funny.
State.
You funny.
Misery loves company. It's like how the hell did we come back in this? Yeah, we all. So yeah, so Bishop,
I'm,
if you're out there listening,
I'm
you
laughing at
are
your
not
Pac-12
alone.
comment. I'm guessing you feel like it
We
sounds
are
like you saying y'all
with
arrived, y'all
you.
conference. So
No,
I'm just
but come on, Rod. It fits
we got 5 teams in the top
five of the
25,
top
so we've
25.
arrived.
I'm not saying we arrived, but I'm saying what definitely it is. It's been, I believe strongly in resiliency. And what Pac 12 has showed is resiliency because they always try to consider us the bottom of the Power Five, in which we are not, clearly, or we're not, but they still try to put that stigma on the Pac 12. I stand for the Pac 12 currently, but next year I'm a Big Ten guy. But right now I'm a Pac 12 guy. So,
Y'all do
say,
got Utah.
so we do play Utah?
Yeah,
Is it
the
after the bye?
15th, two
Okay.
Saturdays from now.
Okay, all right. So, okay, we do have Utah, so that's going to be maybe our first. I ain't gonna say first test because I don't. I hope they don't look ahead past Utah. But you got to think Utah has battled back into the top 15 after taking the L, a tremendous L. Oregon has battered back into the top 15 after taking a tremendous L, and now you have Washington and UCLA that's on the just on the cusp of that. So I think we're looking good. So all we have to do is take care of business. We control our own destiny, in which we can go ahead and punch our ticket to the CFP for the first time. Uh, I'm not gonna say back to glory, but I mean we get back to the CFP at minimum.
Who did Oregon lose to?
Georgia.
Who did Utah lose to?
Uh, Florida State, or was it Florida? Was it
The
Florida? I think it
Gators.
was Florida.
The
Yeah, it was the
Gators.
Gators, SEC teams.
You answered my next question. They went out to the SEC and got them hands and went back to the Pac-12 and started looking behind.
That's what happens. That's like I try to tell people. It's like, yo, stop playing. I was like, don't play Madden on all Madden. Take that L. So when you go and face somebody else, You are going to be you'll
Very
have a whole
true.
different outcome.
Very true. Oregon got and showed what real football is. They came back to Pac-12, bullying everybody. That's funny. They did exceptional rebounds, and then you got UCLA 5-0.
Hmm.
Uh, let me think if I'm going to give y'all the crown for right now. I'll have an answer in a couple
All right, no
minutes.
problem, no problem. So, of course, like I said, that's the top 25. Uh, more football to be played. At the end of this, it state is I expect Oklahoma to be back in the top 25 at some point.
Really?
Uh, yeah, I expect to be a top. I expect them to get a bowl game too. But how humbling it would be if they have to go play in the Popeyes. They have to go play. They have to go play in the E2G. That's the
Oh
E2G.
my god.
Oh my goodness,
Oh
them
my
bowl
god.
games. Yeah, some bowl
E2G
games.
Military First Formation
Yeah,
Bowl.
but yeah, it has to go and play it. That'd be a humbling experience. But that's what we. Sometimes you have to cut. That's where you have to cut your teeth at. You got to go through those adversities. Yeah, you used to play in cotton bowls and all those bowls. You used to play there, but that's not you now.
Oh, I hope Bishop go back and rewatch this.
Oregon always around 12 or 14.
They got Texas next. And Texas
Oh,
is favored on the road going to Oklahoma. And they're not just favored by a couple points. They favored by a touchdown on the road. What are they saying about Oklahoma, Trey?
they're saying that they ain't got it. Gabriel was out. He had a probably concussed. So they're
And then
huge
they got
transfer.
Kansas 5-0 after. Then they got Iowa State, who just gave Michigan a run for their money. Then the Baylor, which ain't nothing to play with. Ugh. And then they end the season with Oklahoma State. Yeah, I don't. They definitely might be in the E2G Bowl. They will be sponsored. Y'all can watch them live. Make sure y'all
We
tune
can
in for the
commentate. We can say
information.
get Brent Venables likes to be on live, so we can simply be like, Brent, come on over. So yeah, so it's like I say, it's just one of those things. I told Bishop, I told him.
Easily
So
two more losses.
easily that part.
Oklahoma State and Texas, I feel like are easy ones. And then, oh man, yeah, this might be the last time y'all saw Bishop. I hope y'all tuned in last Friday.
Yeah, you'll say we
As
won't hear
long as
any
the
more
Eagles
Boomer
keep winning,
sooner.
no, he'll be here.
As long as long as you won't hear no more Boomer sooner when it comes to college.
Boomer sooner.
Yeah, continue. That's exactly how you said it. Boomer, you got a Boomer sooner. Sooner, go sooner. But you know what I'm saying? What is the worst bowl in the NCAA that's where Oklahoma will play at? It's always one of it's that bowl that starts on that starts like December 20th before the bowls, those early bowls, or December 18th bowl. Calling for his head. Hey, it's that life. It's that life. It's unfortunate. Someone got to do it. Had to happen to somebody. It could have happened to a better fellow, in my opinion. So NBA conversation, NBA topics. Ron, the NBA season is upon us. Philadelphia 76ers stand up. Los Angeles Lakers stand up. We'll pour out a little something for Bishop, as of course the Brooklyn
Okay,
Nets
Trey, before we
stand
get to
up.
basketball, before we get to
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
basketball,
Go ahead. Go
I
ahead. Go
think
ahead.
Richard asked a question on the worst bowl game, so I had to look it up. I got a quick
Okay.
one, a quick couple top ones that we can put Oklahoma in.
Okay. Let's see.
Number 9, the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl.
Oh. Oh.
Uh, the number 7, the Wheat Bowl. The number 6, GalleryFurniture.com Bowl. That sounds
Ooh.
appropriate.
That might be a winner.
San Diego County Credit Union Pasanetta Bowl. Oh my gosh.
Ooh, that's a mouthful.
Number 3, the Chair Bundy Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl.
Yeah. Bishop, we got him for you. Who else? What's the next top two?
Number 2 is the EV1.net Houston Bowl. And number 1, the Any Presented by Bowl. I don't even know what that one means. The Any Bowl. So that there's just to anyone, for anybody. Yeah, we got a couple ones for Oklahoma. But back to basketball.
Definitely a couple. See Bishop, y'all can still get a bowl and maybe even win it, depending on who y'all playing. Unless you got to play Kansas State again.
That's why Bishop didn't come on today.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, you wouldn't have held back.
No, I wouldn't. I think this was not. This is off. Like me, if y'all don't know, y'all didn't know. Do not realize it. For the most part, we come here with no script. It's just what I'm saying, our prowess of sports knowledge and what we see across. So there's never any agenda, truly, really, for the most part. But you know what I'm saying, it dictates what it is. So if no one feeds the monster, then we won't have it. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of times in which I have been dragged on here, and plenty of occasions in which everyone has just sat back and laughed at my expense. So in this case, we're not laughing at Bishop's expense. We're not even laughing at Oklahoma's expense. We're just talking the news when it comes to sports, and it just so happened that Oklahoma was so touted. Boom! Soon is all we heard for the lead up to the college football season. And Ron, now I hear crickets. That's all.
Oh man, that's
That's all.
ladies and loyals that's tuning in. That's called a backhanded compliment. When you're about to insult somebody, but you lead off with giving them a compliment and praise just to soften the blow. No love, no
But
love.
what goes up must come down, whether make you laugh or sometimes make you cry. Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, Mr. Hunter. Hey, I don't want to be, saying subject to that. But at this point, it's none of us. That's all I can say. Um, of course, going to into the NBA, they said send an Amber Alert out for Bishop. Oh my goodness!
Yo, I'm worried about next Monday after Texas. Oh my gosh, because three in a row, it's gonna be a funeral service. His next Monday show.
I would have loved to have been a fly on that wall when they was running up and down that field. To know if y'all, like I said, it is a sight to see a game with Bishop and it's one of his teams, man. Oh my
I can't
goodness.
imagine how he felt when the Eagles was down 14-0 to the Jaguars.
He probably was like, "Come on, man! Damn, y'all trash! First Oklahoma trash ass." I can sit up and imagine it all. It's like, yeah, he probably cut off the game and went to go play 2K. Oh my goodness! But like we say, NBA. Okay. NBA conversation, NBA talk. So a lot of action went over the course of this weekend. As we know, Friday started up the preseason for the NBA games. I'll just give a quick rundown of those before we get into the latter part. Of course, on Friday you had the Golden State Warriors took on the Washington Wizards in that the NBA Japan games. Warriors was victorious 96-87. Later on, you had the Clippers play against Maccabi, blitzed them completely, winning 121-81. Wasn't even a contest. On Saturday, of course, the Washington Wizards played against the Warriors for their second game. Ran it back. Good morning, Coach. What's good morning? Good morning, Coach Uriah. How you good? Doing good to have your information with us. The Wizards weren't able to get the win even in that game, losing 104-95. Later on that day, you had the Memphis Grizzlies took on the Milwaukee Bucks. The Grizzlies was victorious 107-102. Even in that game, Ron, they got somebody who's making the difference in the NBA. He's probably hopefully he gets a true contract. And Kenny Lofton Jr. as he put up I think a triple double or at least a double double, but he played very well, taking care of business. And then last night, of course, the Charlotte Hornets faced off against the matter of fact, let me get to those stats. We'll cover those stats as because there might be some talking points in there. Let me pull up. Hey, live your life. Uh, he said the AAU team that beat Phoenix last night. It wasn't the AAU. It actually was the NBL team the Adelaide 36ers put a beat down on the Phoenix Suns last night. But I mean, in their defense, in the Suns' defense, there is a defense. And of course, we're gonna get to it real swiftly. Um, like I said, hold on, let me pull it up. Uh, it's the season. Uh, where it go? Where it go? Where it go? Excuse me. So, of course, the Hornets took on the 76ers last night, where the Hornets were not able to get the W. But, of course, it's preseason, losing 93 to 190 to 134. The Hornets, of course, led by 17 points from Kelly Oubre, 17 points, 2 rebounds, no assists, 14 points for LaMelo Ball, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists to go along with that. 11 points from Terry Rozier, 1 rebound, 3 assists. 10 points from Jalen McDaniels, 1 point, 1 assist to go along. 8 points from Mason Plumlee with no assists. The Celtics, led by Jalen Brown's 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist. 16 points, 3 rebounds, and uh, 3 assists from Jason Tatum. Sam Hauser contributed 14 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 11 points from Malcolm Brogdon, 7 points apiece from from Marcus Smart and Derek White, and 8 points from Al Horford. As everyone got a turn for the most part, the whole team got in, the whole team got points and filled the stats, filled the shot up. Grant Williams, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Noah Vonleh, now Boston Celtics, 7 points, 9 rebounds. Um, yeah, everyone got a turn for the most part with in Boston last night. What else? Who else? Who else? Additionally, the Jazz and the Raptors, of course. Um, the Jazz suffered the L, losing 114 to 82. Jazz, we can score Laurie Markkanen with 20 points, 5 rebounds, 11 points, 1 assist from Colin Sexton, 7 points from Jordan Clarkson, 3 rebounds and 5 assists, 2 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists from Jared Vanderbilt, Kelly Olynyk, 6 rebounds and 1 assist, Mike Conley, 7 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists. For the Raptors, um, Precious Achiuwa as well as Josh Jackson contributed with 10 points apiece, 5 rebounds and 2 assists for Precious, 2 rebounds for Josh, 8 points from Scotty Barnes, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 6 points from Pascal Siakam with 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 9 points for Gary Trent Jr. It was a steady, basically a steady scoring. Herman Gonzalez, 3 points, 9 points from Baton. Uh, 11 points, 10 rebounds, 1 assist from Cruz Bouchier. Uh, Not bad for the Raptors. And of course, last night's the Spurs and the Rockets. That was another one. Rockets and the Spurs. Spurs get the W, 134 to 96. The Spurs led by 13 points from Devin Vessel, 12 points from Isaiah Roby, and 11 from Zach Collins. The Rockets, 21 points from their rookie, Jabari Smith, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 13 points apiece from Alperen Seguin, as well as Eric Gordon, 5 rebounds, 3 assists for Alperen, 2 rebounds, 2 assists for Gordon, 15 points from Josh Christopher, and 21 points from Terry Eason. Um, as I said before, and I'll say it again, Houston might be one of those teams to watch as their youth might be a problem as you come later on in the season. Of course, the last game they pull up the one that probably got the biggest buzz when it came to last night. Uh, the Phoenix Suns took on. Let me see. The Phoenix Suns took on the NBL's, the National Basketball League's Adelaide 36ers from Australia in the exposition game, in which I don't know, Ron. I don't think they wanted to play that game. They wish that game didn't happen. Probably was the end state as the 76ers fall 124. Correction, I'm sorry. The Phoenix Suns, I'm so sorry, Ron. I did not mean that. The Phoenix Suns fall 124 to 34 to the 36ers. 36ers leading scorers, three people with 13 points apiece. Robert Franks, 13 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, one block. Craig Randall II with 13 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. As well as Mitch McCarron with 13 points, 9 rebounds, 16 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. Um, the Phoenix Suns leading scorer, of course, um, 22 points, 22 points from Mikal Bridges with 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals. 22 points from DeAndre Ayton, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and then 23 points from Cameron Payne, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, no blocks, basically. Locke Landale, 12 points. Um, really at Chris Paul, 6 points. Uh, I guess you could say this was one of those games, Ron, in which wasn't really. I don't think the Phoenix Suns expect to go in and lose the game. But I believe they went in and played the game, but I just didn't think they were expecting of the NBL team, the 36ers, to come out shooting. They shot the 36ers shot 16 from 17 from the 3-point line in the first half. They finished the game with 24 for 34, 24 for 43 from the 3-point line. Um, do you think is any coming back from that for the most part, Ron, in any case? You're muted. I think it's easy to say the Phoenix players, you're muted. I think it's easy to play this.
Dang,
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
muted.
Yes,
No,
sir.
I said, C. Randall and R. Franks on this 36er squad dropped 35 and 32 points. Oof. And their third guard dropped 22. That's almost 100 points by the three guards that started on the 36ers. I may have a new team. I need a jersey.
So Coach Terrell, of course, is talking about. I think it's easy to say the Phoenix players, their starters are all game. It would be different outcome, but the rotational players in the game, uh, in the NBA should outperform the non-player NBA players. Do you agree with that, Ron?
I would agree. I regardless, they all played 22 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Paul, Devin Booker. It's not like they weren't there. These boys was hot and balling all game.
17 for 16 for 17 from 3-point.
Right, and those three guards went 20 for 31. So they shot 70% almost. The guards that started. Jeez. Jeez. Put a hand up, Devin Booker. Now I feel like we got to go rewatch this game and see what the heck
And
happened.
see what really happened. I think what happened is they took him lightly. Of course, it could be some of what Coach Ryan's talking about, which they didn't. The starters really wasn't like you said. They played 22 minutes apiece. But evidently it wasn't a productive 22 minutes. In which it was led by Mikal Bridges and Cameron Payne. Cameron Payne being a high scorer for the Phoenix Suns. Uh, but just like anything, the 36ers are professionals as well. They're just professionals in Australia. Um, this
Australia's best.
Yes, Australia's best when it comes down to it. So uh, I, they got caught slipping, lacking. That's what it was. They got
Hey,
caught lacking.
the Lakers need some guards, don't they?
No, we don't. We're
The
good.
Lakers need some guards that can shoot, don't they, Trey?
So this
Might
was
just
the
tell
funny thing
Palinka to
about
get
that.
out there and start recruiting.
This is the funny thing about that, right? It's a difference. from the 3-point line in the NBA there than it is in Australia, which is the 3-point line is further away in the NBA in which it is in Australia, and for them to shoot with that efficiency.
No, these boys is pulling up from half. I'm watching the highlights. DeAndre, get out there and guard that man. He said, "You ain't gonna come out to the half court line." Kapow! Yeah, they was playing filthy on the Suns. Oh my gosh. Yeah, y'all gotta go rewatch this game. Just the highlights. They looking like a bunch of. Okay,
Let's see.
Australia. Oh yeah.
You
All
think
game they
someone
were
might
pulling up from the hash.
pulling up, making them they so that could go like Coach was just saying. Obviously, someone did watch the tape. Is that bad, bro?
Yes. He had the ball at the half court line. Not I'm like 5 feet up. They swung it back. And I think it was Aiton again just sitting there looking at him. He's like,
Okay. Coach Ryan, of course, I think as a loss goes back to what Giannis Jokic and Luka stated about pouring ball being harder.
no, here we go. No.
The NBA has lost the edge, and we clearly saw the difference last night.
I ain't
You don't
doing
believe
it.
it, Ron? You're not going there? I don't know, man. I think I think it's definitely a position. I've simply watched this. It's like California, right? The eroding fault line for California, in which everyone has been talking about. Oh, California's going to fall into the ocean. Oh, yeah. But it is true that there is an eroding fault line with California for the most part. That fault line is also the fault line between the U.S. and the other countries, international game. It's harder. I think it's definitely harder. You gotta think them boys is raised at an early age in which they play, and some become dominant. In which the ones that become dominant, they tend to. Although I won't continually stand and beat on the chest for it because there are some cases where yes they're dominant until they come over into the league, and now it's like it's a different game, and they're not. They're who we thought they were is not who they are. But when you look at Jokic, Luka, and Giannis, even Embiid, like although I know he's a U.S. citizen now, even Embiid, like these players from other countries are a force I think to be reckoned with, and it's starting to spread. We used to have problems with just like people in the Latin countries, the Brazils, the Spains, and all that type of stuff. Those now we getting them from everywhere. Kyrgyzstan, Slovenia, like it's starting to spread, and I think it's now the NBA is on notice. So I assume you agree. I presume you agree. Disagree, Ron?
No. Why are you presuming I agree?
Well, I said presume you disagree. That's why I had to change it.
Oh,
I presume you
disagree.
disagree. Yes.
Yes. That's adorable. Yeah. I'm sure Luca, and I forget what was he from? You, Joker, and Giannis and Embiid.
Serbia.
Yeah, that's Joker. Serbia.
Yeah.
Luca
Lucas from
is not
Slovenia.
Slovenia.
Mm-hmm.
Croatia. I think Luca's
Croatia.
Croat.
Croatia. Yeah. Croatia.
Yeah. Greece, and then Embiid in Africa.
Cameroon.
Cameroon. They're gonna be adorable, but come on now, come on. It's tougher. Y'all work harder. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
play harder. That's what it
Mm-hmm.
is. But it's not more skilled. It's not more
Mm.
talent, and it's not better entertainment. Because they do got Giannis though. I don't want to talk too much with my chest out and Giannis come steal this gold, but if one of
Mm.
them get gold and embarrass us again, I'm gonna have to be quiet. But I just don't see it likely. Like we sent Bradley Beal and Jason Tatum as our premier players the last big tournament, and then they was bad, but it was like we right there. And that was Jason Tatum and Bradley Beal. Don't make us send John Morant and Steph for the backcourt, then Zion and a KD, and
Mm.
who else could we throw in there? What would be our best starting five?
You know what? The best starting five.
Steph and Ja is the guards.
Would you say that's the best starting five? I mean, starting two as the for a front court. Or-
They're the most popular. They're most
They are.
successful. They're I don't. We could take Ja out for
Yeah, Steph without a doubt is definitely
yeah.
that person. Uh, I think based
We
on the
gotta keep Steph and Ja. The only way one you could replace. I don't want Trey on my
I know I
list.
don't want either. I was thinking they still go back to a old sort in Chris.
He
I
get
think that
injured a lot. I don't want them old bones. No, give me Ja. I think you would pick Ja too. You're not taking
well,
CP3 over.
I like the job. I like the job thing, but I think from a standpoint of what I'm saying, it's the volatility would be
Right.
the reason why Ja wouldn't be the first as the starter. But clearly, from a standpoint of uh, talent and being a problem, Steph and Ja, yes, I agree.
And then we gotta have Zion. He's Mr. America. How you like Zion at the 5, AD at the 4, and KD at the 3?
I could afford. I can say KD at the three. I don't.
You don't
Well,
like AD.
nah, I don't like AD.
Do you like Zion?
I could go with Zion. We can do Zion
What
because when
other
you
big
look at
man you want on the team then?
when you look at an
Start.
American center, I think Zion's sheer force of being a bully will be he can strike a little fear.
We would
Um,
would you want to call Anthony Towns instead of AD?
no, I'm going with your man, the 38-year-old.
Oh! I was screaming right. Yeah. We got King
Yeah,
James. We ain't
yeah,
even I wasn't even gonna include him,
yeah,
Trey.
yeah.
I wasn't gonna
I'm going
include
with your
the
man. Like
Queen's final chess piece.
You're gonna go with your
Your
man,
man,
like
your
LeBron.
man's like Joel Embiid playing for Cameroon. Who's my
Yeah.
man? King James. Oh, it's over. Oh, Steph, KD, and LeBron on a basketball court. We've never got that.
No,
Have
we
we even
haven't.
got that in the All Star
No,
game?
because no, of course not, because they even
Yeah, they
Steph is
usually
the team
captains.
captain, or he's picked by the other captain.
Oh, we need that. We need that. Oh,
If we match up those foreign players against current U.S. foreign players, it's also closer than a lot of guys think. I can agree with you, Coach. I know, of course, Ron relinquishes to agree with that, but I wholeheartedly agree with you. As you sit up and watch, and we sit up and witness a couple of things, and two, the last four NBA championships have went to foreign players with other foreign players in tow. 2 years in a row, it went to Giannis with Joel. I mean, then last year, the last 2 years is going to Jokic with Embiid runner up. So I definitely think it's starting to be a gap a closure in the gap when it comes to those players, and maybe it's just becoming the how the game is played more conducive to an international type style. But of course, just like a lot of things, some things start out one way, things evolve, and then now we'll be looking at something else. Maybe even a couple of months from now, weeks from now, we might have to be having a different conversation. As we know, there's some players that may be able to bring that type of style back, or say change the minds. But right now, that's what you're looking at. The foreign players are making a statement. So, of course, additional NBA talk and conversation. The Miami Heat secure Tyler Hero as they get him for 4 years, $130 million extension. In this deal, the 4 years is basically he only gets really it's a 30 million annual payment where he's looking at 120 million in guaranteed money. The other 10 million is basically incentive pay. Uh, of course, he won the Six Man of the Year award. He and Jordan Clarkson were the only players the past season in which scored a total of 20 points. I mean, an average of 20 points off the bench, which put him in position to win the Six Man of the Year award. Of course, he had his breakout in the Orlando season. I refuse to refer to it as everyone else does, but during the Orlando NBA season, he had a breakout to where they were in contention for an NBA championship versus the Lakers. It just wasn't. He just didn't have enough. He kind of actually disappeared in a sense for a game or two. But he was, saying him and Jimmy Butler were the formidable team. Um, now that I think about it, had Bam been healthy, would the Lakers had problems in that during that championship run? If Bam had been healthy in the game, would it have been? Coach, you think he's? I think Carson Chandler Parsons 2.0, really, Coach? Oh, the deal all over again. He is a glorified six man who disappeared when they need him and being paid like an all star. Miami would never recover from this. Uh I think Tyler Hero is actually good. Um, the only player that could probably amount to what he's doing, coach, is maybe Oladipo. And I know Oladipo. I don't presume that Oladipo is that type of player to get that type of money to. Of course, we're looking at the youth. Of course, we're looking at the fact that he hasn't been injury prone. But I don't know if he's a Chandler Parsons uh, overpaid. 30 million a year. You right, coach. That's I when I looked at it, I was like, yo, that's pretty steep. There, I think more of a situation where they're definitely trying to keep him in the fray, keep him in the fold. I don't think at 30 million a year, you're not coming off the bench. I don't think. I wouldn't think that they're going to bring him off the bench. That six man award is done. Now you probably look at it more of an. I don't know if you can go from six man to most improved player. Um, for the season, but 30 million is a lot of money. I'm very sure he's not coming off the bench for at no $30 million. Woo, that's pretty steep. I don't know about that. Jordan Poole being better than I gotta look deep into that, look a little more deep into that. But definitely, like you said, Coach, that is a considerable amount of money for a six man. I guess they expect him to take a leap forward and be more formidable and help them better off. Uh, but averaging 20 points off the bench, Coach. I hope that money doesn't derail him and he basically starts having, like you said, a Chandler Parsons. Well, even Chandler Parsons was surviving for a second to where people still was believing in him until it's like, yo, you robbed the NBA, you robbed the organizations. But it remains to be seen. Like I said, 120 million, 30 million a year, 10 million in incentives. Coming off a season where he was the sixth man of the year, 20-point average off the bench. I think, but remember, coach, that's a true point. He was speaking and saying that they believe that he needed to step forward. Like he wasn't it wasn't a guarantee. Like I actually thought that they were going to lose Tyler Hero because Pat Riley was on him and basically letting them know like you haven't done what you're supposed to be doing. You got six man of the year, but was that your ceiling? Like where are you at? Where are you doing? You need to improve on other aspects of the game. So I think this is more of a deal to where he's going to they expect more out of him. Of course, that's guaranteed money in the bank. It's just going to be willing if another team is going to be willing to take him. I myself would have looked at what the market is for him and looked at okay, if we pay him, are we going to be able to get off him at this on this at this price tag in case it doesn't work out. So now, of course, you have Of course, now we have it to where I don't know what their proposed starting lineup is. We can assume that Jimmy Butler is in the lineup. Um, Kyle Lowry. I would think Tyler Hero, Bam. I don't know who that the four will be, uh, or even who they have on the back end to back up. Uh, so any Miami fans out there, of course, saying feel free to comment and tap in uh, to what y'all got going on in uh, in Miami because 30 million for Bam. I'm correction, 30 million for Tyler is a lot. Of course, additionally, Memphis Grizzlies signed their center, Steven Adams, to a 2-year, $25 million extension. Um, Now, currently, that puts Steven Adams under contract with the Memphis Grizzlies throughout for the next 3 years, as he still had one more year remaining on his current contract. Now that puts him under contract for 3 years, 23 million. Correction, 33 years, 32 million, as his contract was due to expire this year. New Orleans Pelicans as well reached a deal with the forward Larry Nance Jr. as he's basically going to make 2 year, $21 million in his final year, as he was due to be his last year as well, coming off a $48 million contract as he came from Cleveland. So now they secure another utility player in their offense. New Orleans Pelicans, I just think it's going to be different. What, coach? You think so? Now I don't know about. So I think as like I said, if y'all paid attention and watch, I know I didn't give the stats for it, but if you paid attention to watch the Memphis Grizzlies game over the weekend, where Kenny Lofton Jr. Went to work, I think that Steven Adams is just a stopgap for Kenny Lofton. I think they're probably going to expect Kenny Lofton to get down a little bit. I can't wait to see Kenny Lofton face off against Zion. I'm waiting for that to see that matchup. The Pelicans. Matter of fact, I need to probably look and see if that's a game I could go to. I would like to see Kenny Lofton face off against Zion Williamson if possible. But I think that's basically what you're looking at, coach or anyone else, all those that are still out there. Uh, that the Steven Adams situation is a stopgap to trying to see where Kenny Lofton Jr. is going to go. Or how he's going to start to pan out. If he's going to be formidable, if he's going to start to emerge to be the starter potentially. Buckets. The kid gets buckets. Uh, yes, you know what I'm saying? That grit and grind, bringing back that grit and grind, aggressive. Uh, so I think that's what basically what you have for Adams is that he's just going to be a bridge to Lofton building himself and maybe start to fall back into it over the course of the next 3 years. Yeah, Jared Jackson is important. Oh, and then of course, yeah, I forgot about Jared Jackson being there as well. Important to being injured every year, so this is a good look. But yeah, I think, and then of course, last that really didn't make any difference or too much noise. Blake Griffin signs a 1-year deal to play in Boston. I don't foresee him getting any real burn for the most part. Now, what was interesting, Ron, glad to have you back, brother. What was interesting is there's a whole different type of mantra in the Lakers locker room in the Lakers organization. That mantra is get it and go. If it's there, go get it. The big three in LA being Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, supposedly have been given the green light, Ron. The green light to where last year we heard a whole bunch of conversation and talk when it came to Russell Westbrook, where it's like Russ would let Russ be Russ. Of course, that wasn't the case. He was kind of handcuffed, iron ball, cannonball, saying attached to the ankle to where it came in the offense to where he wasn't able to operate as he has in the past years. under Darvin Ham, supposedly that is a different conversation to where they expect to allow him to be who he is, so he can maximize that and push the tempo when opportunities persist. Um, if that is true, that be the new mantra. Ron, do you think Los Angeles can be successful in that type of offense in that flow?
Um, I think an interview was being conducted, and they told Jeannie she didn't make any major adjustments or moves this all season with her roster to
Mm-hmm.
improve. And she looked at him and was like, "We got Darvin Ham," saying that their coach pickup and process has been one of their best decisions, and that's what's going to help them, get that yellow brick road to prosper and laid out. So I'm going to give them a benefit of the doubt. They do got
Mm-hmm.
the greatest basketball player that ever touched God's earth on the team, Anthony Davis and Darvin Ham. Let's see him lead them, and Patrick Beverly. We got to. I thought it was a big four.
No, it's not a big four. You trolling at this point. If you see the look in my head when you said Patrick Beverly, we all know Patrick Beverly is not no Patrick Beverly. Although I think where my man if Gene is still William uh is Willie Jean. Well, Williams is still in the comments. He had a conversation where he was talking about we briefly he did a post and we was talking about Patrick Beverly and talk about the different mindset in which Patrick Beverly brings to the locker room. I just hope it doesn't. It's not going to be. Uh, I just hope it's not going to cause issues and problems in it because Patrick Beverly isn't a starstruck player. He feels like I've been in the league. I'm a professional. These guys are professionals, and so he's not going to sit up and probably put up with some of the stuff in which other players do. I don't know if that's going to do a situation where it's going to be like, okay, Pat got to go, or is it going to be a situation to where they have words, they talk it out. He's able to get them all on the same sheet of music, and we go from there. Good morning, Zach. Good, glad to have information. So I don't know. I think Patrick Beverly from that aspect isn't going to be a bad pickup. I don't know how him and the problem I see is him and Russ them meshing well. Hopefully they're able to work together. Um, with the voices and all that in the locker room, and it doesn't become a situation to where Patrick Beverly starts to rub everyone the wrong way, and then now he's out of there. And now we start with the turmoil. How did we know? Richard Applewhite was good with you this morning, brother. Glad to see your information. We knew you was going to be here. Coach Rod. It's not going to be that bad, Coach. It's going to have its bumps and bruises in the beginning, and then we'll get on our they'll get into the move the groove of things, and who doesn't need to be there won't be there. You might see a situation if people who will get down, Jenny Bus might start to flex and put people in place and move on from some people, or direct that people need to be moving on from and go from there. So I'm here for it. I'm feeling a little more good about the Lakers in their season coming up, due to start in a matter of what's today, third, 15 days, 2 weeks. We'll be ready to go. 2 more weeks. I'm here for it, of course. Just is everything. That's. I think that's enough for talking that the NBA. Let's move into the NFL. As we know, 15 games played. Correction, 14 games played. Actually, hold up. I need to do some right quick. But we do know that 14 games was played. uh, this evening. I mean, yesterday evening. Uh, Starting off with the Cincinnati, correction, starting off with Minnesota and New Orleans early in the morning on Sunday morning to end with Tampa Bay and Kansas City. And what wasn't a bad game. I think it was a all right game. I watched it. I thought it was going to be. I thought Kansas City was going to run away with it for the most part, in which they were able to. Uh, Tampa Bay was able to make a game of it late in the quarters. It's a good thing that Mike Williams came back, or else I think it would have been a complete and utter blowout. But of course, let me get this, mark these off, and get this taken care of first before we get into it. And then, of course, tonight we need to make our picks as far as it goes with the Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers playing tonight. Poor Saints, I hear it already going off. Vikings, okay, Eric, y'all. I don't know, Eric. I don't know. Y'all won. Y'all got the dub, but I just don't know. If y'all probably should have been a guaranteed. It looked like y'all might have struggled a little bit. Um, I don't know, Anthony. Of course, Coach Rod, Tom Brady looks old. This is the first time he said he don't need to be out there. Uh, I said he doesn't need to be out there. He might be a little old, coach. He passed for 300, over 300 yards. But yeah, he's better. I think it's weighing on him. Again, I continue to say that's just one of those situations to where in-state is. He had 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and I don't think that is conducive for uh, the this level play to sit up and have it. Once he sit up and committed to the possibility that he wasn't going to be there, then he shouldn't have been there. But in any case, starting from the top of the line, let me see. Hold up 1 second. Let me scooch this over for a second so I can be able to see. These are still professional players. Where do y'all get that from? So, of course, first and foremost, of course, like you said, Eric tapping in, giving it to him. The Saints. Oh, hold up. Of course, in New England, London, over in London. What is going on? Minnesota took on the New Orleans Saints. Minnesota's now 3-1. The Saints now 1-3. Saints Andy Dalton was 20 for 28. Not bad for the old man. 236 yards, 1 touchdown. Latavius Murray rushed 11 carries for 57 yards rushing, 1 touchdown. Mark Ingram, 10 carries for 30 yards. Taysom Hill contributed 5 carries for 21 yards with a touchdown. Andy Dalton was 1 for 3. Chris Olave, 4 receptions, 67 yards receiving, 1 touchdown. Marquez Callaway was 3 for 53. Adam Trotman was 3 for 37. Juan Johnson 3 for 33. Traquan Smith having one catch for 18 yards. Ingram contributed with an additional 13. Latavius 1 for 8. So, before I say this, let me get to the Vikings. The Vikings, Kirk Cousins was 25 for 38 for 273 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Ryan Williams, 1 for 13 yards. Dalvin Cook, 20 carries for 76 yards. Alexander Madison was 3 carries for 3 yards. Justin Jefferson, 1 for 3. As well as Justice Jefferson, 10 receptions, 147 yards receiving. Adam Thielen was 8 for 72. Irv Smith was 3 for 23. Alexander Madison 1 for 15 yards with a touchdown. Dalvin Cook 2 for 10, and Jalen Naylor was 1 for 13. Rager Osborne 1 for 6. So of course, like Eric says, JJ's back. Justin Jefferson being JJ with the 10 for 147. Cornelius. just fine. That defense was trash against Mahomes. JJ did his thing. Uh, can we still say Jefferson is the best receiver in the NFL? He's not playing like it. I don't think we can still say that he's the best receiver in the NFL. Anthony, at this price, at this point, I'm interested in seeing if it is, of course, that man we'll be seeing tonight. I guess we'll stand pat to see if it is him. Of course, I'm very sure Ron would disagree with that, saying, I don't know, maybe we won't. Ron, is Justin Jefferson the best receiver in the NFL?
Heck no, he ain't the best wide receiver. We're gonna watch the best wide receiver tonight.
That part. And I'm kind of, I hate to say it, man. Oh my goodness. Whew. Yeah, it might be a little unfortunate for us tonight.
And I was talking about Debo Samuel.
That's so funny. Uh, so it's definitely what I see. What I did see is that Lattimore just couldn't stay with him. Clearly, Justin Jefferson was faster than Lattimore, and he got exposed a couple of times. That was the biggest issue, of course. So that is his superpower. He's just fast, and he's going to beat a lot of players. You have to double team him.
I don't think anybody could cover the top 20 wide receivers one-on-one. Team sport, schemes.
Anthony had to bring this up. So you said the top 20, Ron? You think so? You think
We'll
that
probably
really?
get to like 14, 15, 16. Mike Evans, Keenan Allen. You're not covering them one-on-one
Okay.
either.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Just to
We have to
throw
look up those
Eric's
receivers to see.
comment away
Yeah.
about no one can cover JJ.
You have to jump. You think you have to double team him?
But we have seen people shut down the Vikings offense. So what is he saying really? You make no sense. You never played football.
Richard Applewhite agrees. Coach Uriah, opportunity to plug the
They don't even need to cover one-on-one.
he says they ain't even self check. Uh, but yeah, so I mean, when you look at it now, to go back to this game before we move on to the next one, Ron, when you look at it, there was no Jameis Winston, there was no Michael Thomas from New Orleans, and they barely took an L, losing 28-25. If Jameson and Michael Thomas, or even just Michael Thomas was there, do you think the Vikings would have been victorious?
Absolutely. Him, Kamara, and Winston, but
Oh yeah, neither
simply
one, none
Michael.
of them.
Yeah.
It's yeah, without a doubt. But the Vikings, however, in-state is a win is a win. The Vikings did get the W. Currently 3-1, leading their division. And you're saying, and that beat goes on. Of course, in the next game, a slugfest. Y'all gonna learn. Y'all gonna learn. I guess if I could should have won, it did win the game. I'm struggling watching my Bears. Eric with the comment, y'all. We're going to definitely get to them in a second. But of course, like I said, the slugfest between the Seattle Seahawks and the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions is 1-3. Seahawks 2-2, 48-45 win. Seattle's victorious, but I think the game is not indicative of how the score isn't indicative of how the game actually went. The Seahawks, correction. Let me start with the Lions. They were the losers. Jared Goff was 26-39 for 378 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jack Fox had one for 1 for 6 yards. Jamal Williams, 19 carries, 108 touchdowns, 108 yards rushing, 2 receiving touchdowns. Craig Reynolds was 2 rushes, 30 yards. Justin Jackson 2 for 3. T.J. Hawkinson led the receiving corps with 8 receptions, 179 yards, 2 touchdowns. Josh Reynolds 7 for 81 with a touchdown. Tom Kennedy was 3 for 54. Quintez Cephas was 2 for 15. Justin Jackson 2 for 4. Jamal Williams 1 reception for 1. Justin Jackson also with a 2 reception for 4 yards. Contributed with a touchdown. Um, uh, Gino, I don't know. Is Gino that dude, Ron? Is it safe to say Gino's that dude? 23 for 30, 320 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Rashad Penny, 17 carries for 151 yards with 2 touchdowns. Geno Smith contributed with 49 yards on 7 carries with a touchdown. Kenneth Walker, 8 for 29. DK Metcalf, 7 receptions, 149 yards. Tyler Lockett, 6 receptions, 91 yards. Will Disley, 4 receptions, 39 yards with 1 touchdown. Noah Fant, 1 reception, 2 yards with a touchdown. What can we say about these Seattle Seahawks, Ron, in your opinion?
They're a clown show.
Okay, I can go with you on that. They just happen to victim of circumstances, huh?
You seen when Metcalf got carted off the field just to go
Yes,
take a boo boo?
yeah. He said the clinch wasn't going to work.
Clown show. Uh, this game was such a disappointment on so many levels. Um, and it's both teams.
Mm-hmm.
It just was a game of errors. I threw up,
Mm.
and I bet on the Lions.
It was there, man. I think it was there. Of course, you got to take into consideration. Amon Ross St. Brown wasn't there, but someone did pick up the Hawkinson did make up the difference. Um, it just, of course, the defense, no defense, as I see some Zach said, lack of defense from the Detroit Lions. Uh, there's only so much you can sit up and continue to be like, the Lions are just there or right there. Before it's like, nah, they're really not.
I fell for it.
I'm still falling for it. I think they still have an opportunity. Of course, next up, the Jets and the Steelers. Oh wait, hold up, I got to see it. The Jets and the Steelers. Of course, the Jets victorious 24-20. The Steelers, Kenny Pickett, 10 for 13, 120 yards, 3 interceptions. Ron, 3 interceptions. Mitchell Trubisky, 7 for 13, 84 yards receiving. 84 yards passing, 1 interception, 4 interceptions for the Steelers on the day. Najee Harris rushed for 18 carries, had 18 carries for 74 yards. Kenny Pickett, 6 carries for 15 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 carries for 11 yards from Deontay Johnson. Jalen Warren, 3 for 16. Rookie sensation George Pickens, 6 receptions, 102 yards, no touchdowns. Deontay Johnson was 2 for 11. Pratt Freeman, 7 receptions for 85 yards. Um, the Jets welcome back Mr. Zach Wilson, 18 for 36. That's 50%. 252 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Braxton Berrios, 1 for 1 with a touchdown as he threw a 2-yard pass to Zach Wilson on his touchdown. Brees Hall with 17 carries, 66 yards, 1 touchdown. Michael Carter, 9 for 15. Zach Wilson, 2 for 15. Corey Davis led the charge with 5 receptions, 74 yards, 1 touchdown. Elijah Moore was 3 for 53. Tyler Conklin, 3 for 52. Garrett Wilson, 2 for 41. Carter, 2 for 14. Brees, 2 for 12. And Braxton, 1 for 6. This game really doesn't have anything which we can really say. In state is the Jets was victorious. Now the Steelers go to 1-3 on the season. The Jets 2-2. Is this time to worry for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Is Trubisky out, and we see Kenny Pickett? What do you think, Ron?
That's what I was rooting for until you told me he threw 3 interceptions. I missed that part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Looks like the Steelers They hurt. Um, I want to see Pickett
Hmm.
try again with his start, but he was playing the Jets and threw 3 interceptions. So
It's hard out there.
right, and the Steelers went up 20 to like 10 or 20 to 13 with only a couple minutes left in this one. I thought it was wrapped, signed, sealed, and delivered. Um, and they let the Jets come back. And I look for them to have the edge in defense and run game. They got one of the
Hmm.
best running backs and a great D. So this is the Jets. What are we
Um,
gonna do when it's the Ravens and the Bengals?
yeah, you might as well, yeah. So you might as well, like you said, it might be over. That opportunity might have passed them. They could have been 3-1 at least at this point. But
They should probably be undefeated. This is ridiculous. Jets,
uh,
Browns, Patriots has been their last 3 losses. Jets, Browns, Patriots. Think about that.
truly, I it's not too much better than.
Is it time for Tomlin to go? On the next question.
Ooh,
First
you
formation.
Tom. I don't think so. I think Tom is. I think he's. I don't think he's at that point. He's been getting by. Now you have to take into consideration he has to build a new Roethlisberger, um, in which they believe they had might have in Pickett. I don't know. Uh, I just hope the GM has got his eye or is up and doing what he got to do if it comes down to that point, ready to pull the trigger if need be, to bring someone else in. Next game, the Chicago Bears faced off against the New York Giants. Uh, New York is who we thought we who we they it's starting to become very familiar. I think New York is slowly but surely creeping in the NFC East. Of course, getting the 12-20 win over the Chicago Bears. New York going to 3-1. Chicago dropping to 2-2. Justin Fields 50%, 11 for 22, 174 yards. Khalil Herbert with 19 carries for 77 yards. Fields contributed with 7 carries for 52. Treston Ebner 6 for 20. Darnell Mooney, 4 receptions, 94 yards. Herbert, 1 for 24. Wesco, 1 for 23. Cole Kemet, the tight end, 3 for 16. And Tristan Everett was 2 for 28. The Giants, Daniel Jones, 8 for 13 for 71 yards. Tyler Taylor, 1 for 3 for 11 yards with a touchdown. Saquon Barkley rushed 31 carries, 146 yards. Daniel Jones, 6 carries for 68 yards with 2 touchdowns. Tyrod carried 3 for 30. Matt Breda, 3 for 18. Um, Daniel Bellinger, 3 receptions for 23 yards. Tanner Hudson, 1 for 18. Saquon was 2 for 16. Uh, Slayton had 1 reception for 11 yards. Seals, 1 for 5. And Richie James, 1 for 9. Very, very dismal offensive production, Ron, in my opinion. I know you are high on Saquon Barkley. Would you say he's probably the better running back in the league currently, or would you give that to someone else? That designation to someone
Oh,
else?
I'll take it a step further for you. Saquon is the best non-quarterback
Mm.
player position.
Offensively, or are you talking about
No,
overall?
we're not gonna bring defense into this
Okay,
right now.
okay,
There's
okay.
way too many. But offensively, I mean, we were just talking about Cup, Jefferson. Um, I feel like those guys, yeah, you put them on your team. Of course, things are gonna be different. But
Hmm.
clearly, we're seeing that if you put Saquon, I mean, his quarterback is Daniel Jones, and they're winning. So putting Saquon on your team is a winning product for success. 3-1. Yeah, I can't think of anybody that's playing better than him and changing things for their whole team.
Next game, of course, the Tennessee Titans took on the Indianapolis Colts. The Titans getting the W 24-17. Matt Ryan was 27 for 37 for 356 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. John Taylor, who we thought was going to have a formidable season, of course, to challenge that of Derrick Henry, 20 carries for 42 yards. Naheem Hines, 1 carry, no yard. And Matt Ryan, 2 for a -4. Mo Ali Cox, 3 receptions for 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. Excuse me. Alec Pierce, 4 for 80. Colin Grayson, 4 for 62. Paris Campbell, 4 for 43. Michael Pittman Jr., 3 receptions for 31 yards in his return back to competition. Jalen Woods was 1 for 33 after his standout game last week. Um, the Titans, Ryan Tannehill, 17 for 21 for 137 yards with 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry rushed 22 carries for 114 yards, 1 touchdown, getting the better of the head-to-head contest against John Taylor. Ryan Tannehill was 5 for 9. Traylon Burks was 4 for 4. When it came to the receiving, Conwo, 3 receptions, 38 yards, 1 touchdown. Derrick Henry was 3 for 33. Robert Woods, 4 receptions, 30 yards receiving, 1 touchdown. Traylon Burke was 2 for 14, and Jontrell Hilliard was 4 for 18. Lastly, Austin Hooper, 1 reception for 4 yards. Again, Tennessee improving to 2-2 on the season. Indianapolis drops to 1-2-1 in their continued efforts. That one tie at the beginning of the season is probably going to be beneficial to them for the most part. At this point, it is. Uh, they were playing the Bears, stop it, Ron. Of course, the Bears D kept getting beat on the same play all game long. So, of course, they're stating sound like they're saying that Saquon isn't who you're saying he is, Ron.
I don't agree because I'm still looking through the teams to see which player a team has that I like better, and I have not
Mm.
arrived to any yet. It's really Jefferson and Cup. I don't think you would rather have Devontae Adams than Saquon Barkley right now.
Nah, so Devontae still has. I haven't even seen what Devontae did yesterday, but from the first 3 games, he's not impressive in my opinion. Of course, Cup and I would even say Jefferson. Of course, Cup is the most impressive to me in my opinion, but Saquon is definitely pushing the line with it since he
Right.
came back. It's like he hasn't. There's no one else that you can
In
even.
the era of
Yeah,
wide receiver,
yeah.
I don't care who they're playing because who's Danny Jones throwing it to? Name that Giants wide receiver that you dying to have on your fantasy team.
Not at all.
This is, and if you watch the game, it's just Saquon. Here goes the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Saquon, here goes the screen. Saquon, we gonna try a pitch. We gonna try up the middle.
Mm-hmm. It's
30
basically it's
carries.
basically Saquon and Daniel Jones. That's the offense. Saquon and Daniel Jones. Okay, we not rushing Saquon. Okay, Danny around the corner, get us 7 to 8 yards out of bounds. Like basically that's what it is. Danny Dimes and Saquon Barkley show.
And meanwhile, Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens, both those teams was led in rushing by their quarterbacks 70 yards over a piece. Think
Mm-hmm.
about think about if Saquon was playing with Lamar. He don't got no weapons. Oh my gosh.
The next game, of course, the coming back off a dismal effort off playing with the rib cartilage fracture. Los Angeles Chargers took on the Houston Texans. The Chargers victorious 34-24. Um,
Speaking of running backs, we're going to talk about both running backs from this game.
Davis Mills 26 for 35, 246 yards, 2 TDs, 2 interceptions. Damian Pierce 14 carries for 131 yards, 1 touchdown. That's a 9.4 average a carry. Nico Collins 3 receptions for 82 yards. Brandon Cook, 7 receptions, 57 yards, 1 touchdown. Rex Burkhead, 5 receptions for 39 yards with a touchdown to go. Jordan Akins, 2 for 33. OJ Howard, 2 for 27. Damian Pierce, 6 receptions. Those still points in most PPR leagues when it comes to fantasy football. 8 yards receiving. The Chargers, Justin Herbert, 27 for 39, 340 yards, 2 touchdowns. Austin Eckler, 13 carries for 60 yards, but he did get 2 touchdowns. Joshua Kelly, 4 carries for 15 yards. Sony Michelle, 6 for 11. Uh, Receiving, Mike Williams, 120 yards, making his presence felt as everyone believes Keenan Allen is the top receiver on that team. Michael Williams has something different. Mike Williams, Gerald Everett, the rookie tight end, 5 receptions, 61 yards, receiving 1 touchdown. Austin Eckler, 6 receptions, 49 yards, 1 touchdown. Michael Bandy, 2 for 49. Josh Palmer, 1 for 25. And then Sony Michelle, 3 for 16. Um, Chargers improved to 2-2 on the year. The Houston Texans unfortunately dropped to 0-3, 0-3-1. Ron, what did you think of this game, particularly the Texans and the Chargers?
Um, Incredible game by the Houston Texans.
Hmm.
What's our coach down there that used to be on Chicago? Um,
Love.
yeah, Lovey Smith pulled the game together because initially the Chargers came out and dropped the anvil hammer on them, and it was about a 20. It was a struggle, but them boys kept fighting. How did they keep fighting? They just gave the ball to their running back and said, "Take us home." And Pierce is next up,
Take
definitely.
us to the king.
Chargers did what they're supposed to do, and just kept giving that ball to Eckler, and I was just watching touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. I was happy.
Mm. Definitely a situation where Herbert had to get a bounce back game, I guess. Houston was just in time.
Yeah.
Another opportunity where he continues to play and he continues to get be able to play through the pain. As now he gets the extension on and what's good, Stan. Good to see you information, brother. Where he gets another opportunity to build on what he where he was missing. 2-2, 500 in their division. They're still ahead of the Raiders, and I think now the Broncos. So they're in good position. I think. Our next game, of course, the Cleveland Browns took on the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons playing host to the Browns, and the Falcons getting the win at home, 23-20. Jacoby Brissett was 21 for 35, 234 with the interception. It's losing extra. Nick Chubb, 19 carries for 118 yards, one touchdown. Kareem Hunt was 10 for 49. Brissett had 5 of 16 on himself. Receiving, David Njoku. I know Ron said he picked him up in one of his fantasy teams. I guess he played 12 points. As he 5 receptions for 73 yards. Donovan People Jones 5 for 71. David Bell was 2 for 35. Kareem Hunt 2 for 19 receiving, 4 for 18 from Harrison Blount, and lastly Nick Chubb was 2 for 9. The Falcons, led by Marcus Mariota at the QB, 7 for 19 on the day, 139 yards passing, 1 interception. Tyler Algier was 10 yards, 10 carries for 84 yards rushing. Caleb Huntley was 10 for 58 with one touchdown. Cordell Patterson was 9 for 38, one touchdown. Avery Williams, 1 for 21. Zacchaeus, 2 receptions, 55 yards. Kyle Pitts was 1 for 25. Parker Heath was 1 for 2, 22 yards receiving. Tyler Algier was 1 for 20 for yards receiving. Uh, Rookie sensation Drake London only held to 2 receptions for 17 yards. Everyone else was basically locked out. The Cleveland Browns were not able to get the job done, but they dropped to 2-2 on the year. The Atlanta Falcons improved to 2-2 in their efforts. Ron, uh, what do you think about the Mariota's or Brooklyn? I'm not Brooklyn. Um, Cleveland and Atlanta's performance yesterday.
Uh, Atlanta maybe have one of the best offenses in the league,
Hmm.
and they're just a quarterback away from being playoff ready. But the most shocking part of this game for me is that both these teams were the only teams in the NFL to score over 26 points every game.
Hmm.
The Browns and the Falcons basically both without a quarterback. Great rosters, fun teams. And to see the Falcons pull away with this win, this is huge. It's huge for them.
2-2, 500 on the season. Plenty of football still to be played. Of course, up next game, let's go with the.
Right. We would have never thought we would have been able to say the Falcons is going to make it to the
Yeah,
championship.
so you is not lying anyway from fashion. That definitely wasn't in my book. Wasn't expected to be in my vocabulary, but yet here we are. That's what we have. Uh, Next game. Uh, Next game. Uh, the Washington Commanders pulled up to Dallas to play against the Dallas Cowboys, in which ended up being a convincing win by the Cowboys, getting the 25-10 W over the Commanders. Carson Wentz 25 for 42, 170 yards, 1 TD, 2 interceptions. Antonio Gibson led the charge from our offense from the team's rushing, 13 carries for 49 yards. Jonathan Williams 5 for 48, 8 for 40 from J.D. McKissick. John Dotson 3 receptions for 43 yards with a touchdown. Curtis Samuel 4 for 38. Logan Thomas was 5 for 19 yards. John Bates 4 for 19. J.D. McKissick 3 for 16. Terry McLaurin 2 for 15. And Gibson, of course, contributing 3 for 14 for the dismal offense of the Commanders. Cooper Rush 15 for 27, 223 yards. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Ezekiel Elliott led the charge with 19 carries for 49 yards. Cooper rushed 2 for 7. Tony Pollard was 8 for 6. CeeDee Lamb, 6 receptions, 97 yards, 1 touchdown. Michael Gallup back in action, 2 receptions for 24 yards and a touchdown. Noah Brown, 3 receptions for 61 yards. Ezekiel Elliott, 2 for 32. And Ferguson was 1 for 7. Although, Ron, there wasn't like a huge output, but it was an efficient output. Conversation starting to be had. Ron, is Cooper Rush? I know we still got some time. We did say that we gotta wait to see what he does in some key games. But do you think Cooper Rush is starting to apply pressure? Cowboys still one of the best teams. Still one of the best teams in the league. We are going to take. If you're talking, Ron, you muted. My opinion, yes, he is for the most part. But now that you see that CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup is back, I would say that maybe if it was a situation with uh, Dak Prescott coming back, that maybe it would be a bit different. Maybe this is a situation where there's no tape. As we all know, usually when a player comes out and they're doing considerably good, it's usually because there's no real film that's out there on that player as a professional to where offenses can take it and have an idea that to see where they're at. So it could be the situation, or Cooper Rush could just be that good. Now we have saying in the Dallas Cowboys organization, there's usually always a predecessor that comes and has to start looking over their shoulder. So this is where we could potentially be at with Cooper Rush and Dak Prescott. I doubt it though. When you look at it, that he's holding down the fort in state. Cowboys include the 3-1 on the year. Commanders dropped to 1-3, going fourth. Of course, the next game, the Philadelphia Eagles played host to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Eagles were able to pull one out 29-21. Trevor Lawrence was 11 for 23 with 174 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Travis Etienne Jr., 8 carries for 32 yards. Jane Robinson was 8 for 29. Trevor Lawrence did continue with 2 for 7, and Christian Kirk was 1 for 3. Christian Kirk receiving 2 receptions for 60 yards. Agnew, 4 receptions for 50 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jermichael Hasty was 2 for 22. Dan Arnold was 1 for 26. And even Ingram, 1 for 16. The Eagles, Jalen Hurts, 16 for 25 passing, 204 yards with the interception. Miles Sanders, 27 rushes, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts, 16 for 38 with a touchdown himself. Kenneth Gainwell with the 5 for 19 with a touchdown, rushing touchdown when he blew the middle of the field for a touchdown. AJ Brown, 5 for 95. Dallas Goedert, 5 for 72, 2 for 22 for Miles. Devontae Smith, 3 for 17, in which it really wasn't any true output from a passing game for the Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. I wonder, does that potentially put it in position to where are they starting to wear it down, or do we see a time to where they're potentially going to start taking some L's? Currently, probably the top team, which we'll find out tomorrow in the rankings. Probably one of the top team, if not the top team overall across all spectrums of the of rankings. The top team, only undefeated team, but they seem like they did struggle. Um, I got what you said. I was just saying the same thing, Eric. We might have a situation to where uh, they they may be in trouble coming soon, but it remains to be seen. Next game, the Bills. Uh, coming for the Eagles. I knew you was going. That was the rhetoric. The Bills and the Ravens. Of course, the Bills pulled out a one 23-20, which there is potentially a little controversy in reference to whether or not Coach Harbaugh should or should not have went for that touchdown when they could have had a potential to go ahead by a field goal and just had to play to hold the Bills or to where they would have been tied and going to overtime. Of course, the Ravens, Lamar Jackson was 20 for 29, 144 yards, one touchdown, two interceptions. He had 11 carries for 73 yards. Justice Hill was 8 for 45. J.K. Dobbins, 13 for 41 with the touchdown. Devin Duvernay led the charge with 4 receptions, 51 yards. J.K. Dobbins, 4 for 22 yards plus a touchdown. Rashad Bateman and Patrick Ricard both 3 receptions each, as well as 17 points apiece. 17 yards apiece. Mark Andrews was 2 of 15, and Justice Hill 2 of 12. The Bills in their winning efforts. Quarterback Josh Allen, 19 for 36 with 213 yards rushing, one touchdown and an interception. Josh Allen led the team in rushing with 11 carries for 70 yards with the touchdown. Devin Singletary was 11 for 49. Zach Moss contributed with 3 carries for 6 yards. Stephon Diggs with 4 for 62 receiving. Devin Singletary was 4 for 47. Dawson Knox 3 for 40. Khalil Shakir 2 for 23. Isaiah McKenzie was 4 for 21 with the lone receiving touchdown. Gabe Davis 1 for 13, and Jamison Crowder was 1 for 7. As now, of course, the Buffalo Bills improved to a 3-1 record. Baltimore drops to 2-2. Buffalo's only loss coming to Miami last week, as now they try to get back on track. Like I said, it came down to a situation to where at some point where uh, Lamar Jackson slipped up a little. There was a difference. See, again, elements. Not saying no one can play in the elements, but elements make a difference. Philadelphia game had the rain, although it wasn't the same type of rain as in Chicago. Baltimore had the rain, although it was the same type of Chicago, and it posed a problem, especially for a running quarterback of Lamar's caliber, in which the one where he could have actually probably walked into the end zone after the quarterback sneak and he slipped up and couldn't get there, in which 2 plays later ended up throwing an interception in the end zone. Uh, but in any case, like I said, Buffalo victorious, getting the dub, and going on. The Cardinals took on the Carolina Panthers. 20 battle of the last two quarterbacks in last Heisman Trophy winners in Kyler Murray as well as uh, Mayfield, in which the Cardinals were victorious 26-16, getting the 10-point W over Carolina. Uh, Baker Mayfield 22 for 36, 197 yards passing, 1 TD, 2 interceptions. Christian McCaffrey led the carry, 8 carries, 27 yards. Dante Foreman was 1 for 2. DJ Moore was 1 for 11. Christian McCaffrey additionally also led receivers in 9 receptions, 81 yards, one touchdown. DJ Moore was 6 for 50. Tommy Trimble was 3 for 34, and Robbie Anderson 3 for 26 in their losing effort. The Cardinals, Kyler Murray's 23 for 32, 207 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. James Connors received rushing 15 carries for 55 yards. Kyler Murray was 12 for 26 yards with a touchdown or rushing touchdown. Eno Benjamin 5 for 36. Marquise Brown with 6 receptions, 88 yards, one touchdown. Zach Ertz 6 for 47 with a touchdown as well. Trey McBride, 3 receptions for 24 yards. Connors was 3 for 22, and Rondell Moore 3 for 11. As he said, the Cardinals get the win, improving to 2-2 on the year. Possibly could be second in the conference if the Los Angeles Rams are able to defeat the 49ers. Carolina Panthers dropped to 1-3 on the year, in which now, of course, Coach Rule states that currently he is not looking at any changes at quarterback. Baker is still the starting quarterback as of right now, but potentially they could have a situation to where Sam Darnold might get an opportunity if Baker continues to have uh, these woes uh, at the helm. Who's up next? Who's up next? Three more games. I'm sorry, 3 more games to cover. Denver Broncos, a battle for the AFC West. The Denver Broncos were in Las Vegas at two, in which the Broncos weren't able to get it taken care of, losing 23-32 as the Las Vegas Raiders were victorious. The Broncos, Russell Wilson, 17 for 25, 237 yards, 2 touchdowns, as well as led the charge with 4 carries for 29 yards and a touchdown. Javonte Williams, 10 for 28 as he went out. Potentially, MRI would determine if he would be out for the season. Mike Boone, 3 for 20. Melvin Gordon Jr., 3 for 8. KJ Hamler with receiving yards, 1 reception and 55 yards. Jerry Jeudy was 4 for 53 with the touchdown. Courtland Sutton, 5 receptions for 52 yards with a touchdown. Kendall Hinton, 2 for 39. Eric Saubert was 1 for 25. The Los Angeles Raiders, Derek Carr, 21 for 34, 188 yards, no touchdowns, nor interceptions. Josh Jacobs, 28 yards, 141 yards rushing, 28 carries for 144 yards rushing with 2 touchdowns. Carr was 7 for 40. Zaire White was 2 for 24, and Devontae Adams contributed with 1 carry for 4 yards. Of course, he led the receiving core, 9 receptions, 101 yards. Mike Collins, 3 for 33. Josh Jacobs, 3 for 50 for 5 for 31, and Darren Waller, 3 for 24. Ron, I know you huge on Darren Waller. What do you think about this season as of yet? He got the money, he's digressing, or is this just a situation in which Devontae Adams is overshadowing him?
Definitely Devonte Adams. I feel like Derek Carr has stopped being his focus.
Yes.
Yeah, he's feeding it to him, but this game was shocking. I didn't expect this much points.
Mm.
I think it says a lot about the Broncos too. It's confusing, but 1-3, 2-2, and the Broncos ain't look impressive yet. We might be looking at. I remember they said the AFC West was a powerhouse.
And it's not looking like it's such. Not at all. Of course, 2 more games to talk to before we get to our picks for tonight. The Patriots and the Packers. The Patriots, what many would have thought would just been a complete throttle of a game for the Packers due to the fact that Mac Jones was out. And Aaron Rodgers started coming to his own with this new crew that he has. It was not as such. The Packers did get the W, winning 27-24. Excuse me, 27-24, improving to 3-1 on the year. Patriots dropping to 1-3, but Aaron Rodgers came on and had a PSA basically to say that they can't continue to win. This is not a sustainable winning model. Of course, the Patriots. Brian Hoyer was 5 for 6 in the relief for Mac Jones and 37 yards before he was injured, which injured Billy Zapp, the rookie quarterback, 10 for 15, 99 yards with a touchdown. Damian Harris was 18 carries for 86 yards with the touchdown. Ramondre Stevenson, 14 carries for 66 yards. Nelson Aguilar, 3 receptions, 46 yards. Devontae Parker, the recipient of that lone touchdown, 2 receptions and 24 points. Ramondre Stevens contributed with 4 receptions for 23 yards. Kendrick Bourne was 2 for 23, and Hunter Henry was 2 for 12. The Packers, Aaron Rodgers, 21 for 35, 251 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Aaron Jones was 16 carries for 110 yards. AJ Dillon, 17 for 73. Christian Watson 1 for 15 with the touchdown, rushing, and Aaron Jones 1 carry for 1 yard. Alan Lazard 6 carries, 16 yards. Romeo Dobbs 5 carries, 5 receptions for 47 yards with a touchdown. Robert Tonyan 2 receptions, 22 yards with the touchdown. AJ Dillon 1, Aaron Jones 3 for 5 yards receiving. Um, yeah, I agree with Aaron Rodgers. Of course, no one knows it better than him. In the first half, Ron, do you know that his passing rating was a dismal 11.0?
Jeez, I did not.
And he even said himself it was all on him. He threw a couple of interceptions. He threw a pick six. That wasn't the receiver's fault. Or was a turnover when Dobbs made a good attempt on the ball in which he basically was he had, but he put him in a bad position, which a fumble was caused, and he did not recover the fumble. Um, but Aaron Rodgers did say that he expected to get back in tune, in which they did, which allowed them opportunity. They did lack a timeout due to the fact of Coach LaFleur went for a challenge that wasn't winnable in any case, in which he said it was his emotion that got caught up in him because his eye in the sky. One of the coaches told him, "Do not." It wasn't that it wasn't going to be in their best efforts. He went for it anyway. Ended up costing them that timeout, and it would have been a timeout that could have been used for them to put themselves in position for the win earlier in regulation as opposed to overtime. Uh,
This was a great one for the Packers. They might
uh-huh.
be the most. Who's the most shocking team this year? Um, I feel like they're definitely not supposed to be 3-1. And despite I love the way his receivers is looking. I am falling in love with Romeo Dobbs.
Oh yeah, they said he was going. He probably was going to be the problem that they needed.
Right. And then Lazard, 6 catches, 116.
Hmm.
The Packers got a team, man. Y'all better watch out.
And of course, last night's Sunday night game, the Chiefs traveled over to Tampa Bay after the Hurricane Ian came through. The Chiefs came through and did their rendition of Ian, additionally, leaving the Buccaneers with the L, walking away with a 41-31 victory. Um, Chiefs improving to 3-1 on the season. Tampa Bay dropping to 2-2. Buccaneers, Tom Brady 39 for 52, 385 yards, 3 touchdowns, which isn't shabby at all. But on that production from a 45-year-old, I'm very sure he's going to take his toll. Rashad White, 3 carries for 6 yards and 1 touchdown. Leonard Fournette, 3 carries for a negative 3 yards. Um, Mike Evans, 8 receptions in it, come back 103 yards, 2 touchdowns. Chris Godwin walking back 7 touches for 59 yards. Leonard Fournette 7 receptions, 57 yards. So he did do damage in another area, 1 touchdown. Rashad White was 5 for 50. Cameron Brate before leaving with the concussion protocol, 4 for 32. K Otten 3 for 29, and Russell Gage was 2 for 24. The Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, the Magic Man himself, 23 for 37, 249 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 19 carries for 92 yards and a touchdown. Isaiah Pacheco, who is starting to show his moxie, 11 carries for 63 yards. Noah Gray, 1 carry for 1 yard and 1 touchdown. Travis Kelsey, 9 receptions, 92 yards, 1 touchdown. Marquez Valdez Scantling, 3 for 63. Juju Smith Schuster, 5 for 46. Jody Fortson, 1 touchdown after a 10-yard reception. And Sky Moore, 2 for 31. The Chiefs, as I said, Brady, the Chiefs blitzed Brady all night, and the Chiefs played a good offensive game. I still, in my opinion, of the Chiefs. Now, what I will say is definitely I may have to retract my statement in reference to Mahomes not being able to be that person due to the loss of Tyreek Hill. So I may have to retract that statement. He's finding ways, but it's still who we thought he was, at least who I thought he was. He's a player that runs around and finds people like a broken play works all the time. That's all I want to say. He still has saying the wizardry of throwing sidearms, throwing around play people like he's on Marvel taking on X-Men on and throwing like he's whipping bullets around players, people. He's whipping the ball around people. He has that ability, but how long is that sustainable? He got away. You know, what I'm saying he made the play where he spun around and stopped with it 1 foot still behind the line of scrimmage and got the dump throw overhand to where he threw it to Atlas Hilaire uh in the back of the end zone. He can make those plays. He's able to make those plays, but I don't think that's a sustainable um product when he starts to play in certain key players. But of course, we said before, Andy Reid is the engine that Kansas City Chiefs offense. Ron.
Oh, Andy Reid is the engine. Wow, I don't think we even have enough time for that conversation. Wow. You know, Andy Reid's been in my life for a long time.
Correct, sir.
He's really never stopped being my coach because once he left the Eagles, I went and got my Mahomes jersey as soon as they told me he was the next big thing. So I've always been an undercover supporter, but feeling
Mm-hmm.
like he is the engine. Once we had one ship in over almost 3 decades.
Mm,
I don't know if I like that engine, but the engine gets it done. No, I'm not. This is Mahomes. This is
it's all
Mahomes.
Mahomes.
Yeah, like you said it right. Mahomes is the magician at backyard ball. He's dizzling and dancing. We saw Andy Reid when they had who did he replace? Alex Smith.
Mm-hmm.
But we had said he's the engine then.
But they were winning.
They were
They were
okay.
winning.
They
They
were
were
okay.
winning. They were okay. Yeah, true that. They were okay. That is
They
so
was
true.
they was more of the shocking story. It's like, oh, the Chiefs, they're
Mm-hmm.
good. But let's just call it what it is. Batman and Robin. It's like
Okay.
Brady and Belichick.
Okay. I'll give you that. That is
But we
definitely
have to get the edge to the quarterback. We can't be disrespectful.
that is that is so true. So of course we have that to where the tonight Thursday night football. Oh, correction, Monday night football. The Los Angeles Rams taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Ron, what's your pick for tonight? I want
Do
to
we
hit
got
this.
our records for Sunday's picks before
Yes,
we get
so far, what we had this week is Bishop at 10-5. Uh,
he beat us?
Bishop at 10-5. 26 and 20 21 on the season so far with one game left in this week. Yourself 12-3,
Oh,
29-18, and then I went 9-6 with the opportunity to push or tie Bishop for this week, depending
I
on if I
thought
make the
Bishop
right
called
pick.
me.
Yes, 20, which I'm 22 or 25 overall, making up a huge amount. So at this point, Ron, you looking at the maximum by the end of this week, you could be at 60% pick rate percentage
Wouldn't be able to
in week
tell by
four.
my bets. Don't think I'm bragging because I'm like, how am I getting these picks right? How I go 12-3 and lose all my money at the same time? I got a proposition for you tonight.
What's up?
We can both watch Monday Night Football and be happy. Because if you pick the Rams
Mm-hmm.
and the Niners win, you're gonna be happy. If I pick the Niners and the Rams win, I'm gonna be happy, right?
Correct.
We're gonna pick each other's teams. Is that what we're gonna do, Trey? Or are you gonna make the smart? Or we don't got Bishop either. What you
So
gonna do?
I'm. I so want to be that fan that chooses his team regardless, right?
I know we ain't picking the same because either way we gonna disagree.
I want to be that fan that chooses his team regardless of what the outcome is going to be. Like you know, what I'm saying what we have in San Francisco is Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, what we have in San Francisco is Jimmy Garoppolo coming back, and he's the same in which they was before. Now, when the Rams last seen him, minus the injury. Is that sustain? Is that enough for we're without a couple of players, no Armstead. Hell, we was even on the cusp because we had a lot of players that was out. So
As
what?
does your little brother.
So in that, but I mean, y'all got one person that's a problem to where we have one that we're trying to make a problem.
Debo is an equivalent problem of Cooper Cup.
He is an equivalent problem, but that's the one we talk about. We're trying to make him a problem. We simply put him into different ways and different moving around. So
Okay, just don't act like Jalen Ramsey ain't gonna be getting cooked either. He's an all timer, but Debo gonna get his just like everybody else. Just like we was saying with Eric, like all these wide receivers is cooking.
I'm going with the Rams tonight. I'm
Kittle's
going with,
playing,
yes.
so we got the same wide receiver room.
Hmm.
Y'all tight end room is better. Y'all,
I don't know. Higby isn't a slouch.
Cam Akers and Henderson is both starting to get rolling. So I think we got the edge on offense. How's y'all defense looking? Healthy?
Except for Eric, we don't have Eric Akers. I mean Armstead.
That's the safety.
No, that's the no. We got our safety. We got our DBs. We don't have defensive linemen.
Mm. Y'all got Bosa though.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a battle. You took the Niners?
No, I took the Rams.
Give me the Niners. It's easy.
You taking the Niners?
Yeah, I'm gonna take our big
Really?
brother. We're not supposed to win this game, and y'all aren't supposed to win this game. This confusing. This confusing. This is oof.
I just don't think we have it right now. After what I seen against Denver last week, it was very disappointing. I don't think we
Y'all
have it right
absolutely don't have it right now, but your little brother's coming to the court and saying, "What's up? I got the juice." Once again, no, the Niners is gonna be ready. We're gonna get punched in the mouth. I know it's coming.
now.
It's gonna come down to the fourth quarter.
I think we're gonna start to peak. But it's not this right now in the season. I think we'll do it like we did last year and start to make a play after the fact. So yeah, but so in opposite side of the spectrum, so we'll
Did
see
the
tonight.
Cardinals win? Did the Cardinals win
They
yesterday?
did. The Cardinals did win.
So if y'all win this game, everybody in the division's 2-2. That's wild.
I
That's
I
wild.
would like to not get this win in this pick, but
That's how I know the Niners is gonna win this game. They are not gonna go back to this division, letting the Seahawks and the Cardinals have more wins than them.
that's exactly what it's looking like. But you know what I'm saying? It's a long game. Of course we have it. So what did you the Rams? I think it's in it is in
San Fran.
yes, in San Francisco. So of course, you know what I'm saying, that has been our time for today. Of course, I have to hit Bishop and see what his pick is so we can lock that in and see where we're going. Of course, y'all know what to catch us every weekday, Monday through Friday, 09 to 1100 hours, as we go over what's going on, how this in the topics and sports and things in that nature. Of course, I think I might have a little conversation with a reference to this military basketball as a whole, to where, like I said, the national military basketball tournament dropped what
Mm.
they foresee as their top 20 and in the military, as when it comes to military sports. It was a lot of fire going on. There was a lot of comments. People was disagreeing and not feeling this and feeling a certain type of way over that top 20 list. But we, you know, saying we're bringing it up. Maybe some people jump on and talk about it. Maybe come to some defenses and stuff. A lot of people discuss talking about certain teams aren't playing and all that. So it did what from my understanding, it did what it was supposed to do, and we're going to see what it can do with when we talk about it tomorrow. Of course, we do a recap of tonight's game. And basically go from there. So it's a whole vibe. Y'all know what it is. Ron, any words before we get up out of here?
Yeah, just a quick fantasy first formation check in. It's looking like we got a battle at the top. We had the number 2 and 3 seed Jovid put up 165. Trey, it's looking like he's going to be a problem. Um,
He
there
is.
was a battle at 9 and 10 between myself and Mr. CEO. Um, You can holla at me, Eric. Trey, you took a loss, a six
Yeah,
and five.
man. Goodness gracious. Just when I try to get ahead, he's trying to pull you down.
This has been a rough week, but I'm looking at this 1-4 matchup, Trey. Finally, Low Country G's is in fourth place, down 23 to the first place PRP Bishop, who we all need to take a L. Can Debo Samuels get more than 23 points? He wins.
Let's go, Debo. Need to make that mean that to happen.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's about 2 touchdowns, 110 yards.
I mean, stranger things can happen. I hope. You know what I'm saying, I need Cooper. I need Cooper and Kittle and the defense to do miraculous things. Even though I think it's so far out, but I mean,
So
stranger things.
you need Kittle on the defense to put up 50 points for you.
Yes, 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 and which is not far off. I like to sit up and think, but I mean, we'll see. We'll
Oh,
definitely see.
don't act like my quarterback of my team does not love to throw pick sixes, sir. I, I'm not doubting a 30-point defensive night at all.
That would be so
What you
lovely.
mean? We threw one last week.
That would be so lovely, but it remains to be seen. So of course, you know what I'm saying, like I said, that's our show for today. We greatly appreciate y'all rocking with us. Be sure to check us tomorrow as we go forth. Plenty more to talk about. We'll holler at y'all. Check it, you know what I'm saying? Check your fantasy. Check your friends. They might know. Okay, check on Bishop, y'all. This is your boy Trey, my man Ron, and we up out of here. Peace.